Well, since I am a transgender man, when I came out in my company, I got the support from my bosses and management. However, it was difficult for them to navigate through the section where I have to go into the men's restroom. And that caused me a lot of stress. And at the same time, I had to undergo a physical exam, an MRI. I'm claustrophobic, so this caused a lot of stress and I had to get medication.
So, Johan, why don't you tell us a little bit more about where you are, who you are, and what is it that you do for a living?
My name is Johan. My middle name is Gael. What I do for a living right now is that I have been working 3 consecutive years at a great company. I like it very much. I love the atmosphere, the environment. I work for Estee Lauder companies. I work on the HR onboarding section. We handle all kinds of customers. And besides my professional, this is the job that I do. I work at Estee Lauder. I am a musician, a songwriter. So I am working on releasing music. And I also mentioned this because I consider that part of my being, part of my professional development. It's part of it because I consider music not as a hobby. I consider it to be completely part of my professional development or my career.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
I saw a guitar for the first time when I was 8. And when I saw that, I didn't even know what it was. I saw an uncle of mine getting into my grandma's house and he was carrying this beautiful thing and making music with it. And I would see his fingers move. And then he left the guitar, this beautiful object, sitting on a chair. And I slowly came towards the guitar and I touched it and I was like, oh, this is such a beauty. And I made my first promise, the first promise to myself was when I was 8. I said, I have to, and I will learn how to make music with this.
Did you learn by yourself?
No, I actually nagged my dad about getting me classes, like, hey, Dad, I need to get some guitar lessons. A few years later, I was 12, and I said, hey, Dad, I want to take some guitar lessons. Would you pay that for me? And he's like, sure, let's do that. Funny thing is that my instructor, my professor, never asked me if I was a left-hander or a right-handed. I am a left-handed, but I learned how to play the guitar as a right-hander just because my teacher didn't know that I was left-handed. So I learned it as a regular right-handed. In music, I joined a few bands when I was 15. Of course, that was back in a different life. I had a different identity back then. And actually, I did have a career that started back in 2017 with my prior identity, or as I like to say, it's pretty much like a sister. I had a music video. I was, on interviews, on TV, radios. I did, the official launch of the album, all of that. All the music was already in Spotify, YouTube, all the digital platforms. But then, there was this time in life that came and I was able to actually find the reason why things didn't move forward. And now I am launching my brand new career as Johan Gael, the singer-songwriter, Panamanian singer-songwriter. And the sound of my music is completely, I would say there's an essence that remains the same, but there's the sound, it's like an envelope. Like it surrounds you completely. And it's different. And my music used to be very sad in a way, like the notes, like the chords. It had a lot of melancholy, I would say. Mm-hmm. But now it's very different. It feels like it tells a story, and these are not my words. These are a couple of friends' words. It seems for them that it tells a story and it actually leaves them optimistic.
I'm going to challenge you a little bit, Johan. I watch your story over and over again, and there are so many pieces that we could extract from it. But today, I'm going to ask you to try to tell us your fuck-up story in 30 seconds.
In 30 seconds? Okay.
In 30 seconds. So I'm going to be watching the clock, and then if you miss it, I'm going to say ciao, try again, and we'll see what happens, okay?
Well, since I am a transgender man, when I came out in my company, I got the support from my bosses and management. However, it was difficult for them to navigate through the section where I have to go into the men's restroom, and that caused me a lot of stress. And at the same time, I had to undergo a physical exam, an MRI. I'm claustrophobic, so this caused a lot of stress, and I had to get medication to cure me from my panic attacks. And then I got better, but it was a complex situation, very stressful. So, the most important thing is that the fuck up, if you put it in one sentence, for me would be, I had a project that I wanted to do, the most important project of my life, and I couldn't start it when I needed or when I wanted to start it due to a mental condition. That's a fuck up in one line. Like, I couldn't start my project, which was a life project, because this stress of the MRI and our work didn't put me, and mostly the MRI, because I'm claustrophobic. Mm-hmm. And that triggered a mental condition which I had never had, which are panic attacks. And of course, when you're having a panic attack or you're under medication, it's not advisable to start hormone replacement therapy. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Tell us more about that feeling that you think you failed yourself, just so that we can understand better how you're perceiving the fuck up, to see if there's anything you could do to change that and that you learned from it that didn't really have to do with the environment.
If you need to get an exam, you need to know what it is about first, to be certain, right? That was under my control. I could have asked, like, oh, what is this? Resonancia magnética in Spanish. MRI. Okay. How is that? Oh, you need to go through like a small tunnel or something like that, or you get an open, I got an open machine, but still it was horrible for me. So what was under my control was the fact that I could have, told my doctor that I was claustrophobic. That's first of all. I didn't have to go through the exam exactly that day. If I saw that it was kind of like difficult for me, I could have rescheduled. That was under my control. And I could have spoken to my doctor and say, hey, is there anything that we can do? Maybe you can give me like a relaxation pill or something like that. That was under my control. And also, I think that in the office, I did fail myself because I was in such a hurry to start my hormone therapy. And that was because I was probably dating this girl, and I was like in a hurry to start looking more masculine as soon as possible. I already looked masculine, but to look even more masculine. So I was failing myself because I allowed this expectation from another person to get in front of my own journey, like my step by step, my own path.